is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
It's a Teal Tuesday in downtown Phoenix. The Teal is out here at Chase Field. The Rockies in town following a wild one last night that saw these two teams combine for 21 runs and 31 hits. A matchup of left-hand starters tonight, Jorge De La Rosa and Robbie Ray on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. D-backs and Rockies. Robbie Ray tonight, only 5 strikeouts shy of 200 for the season. He's 4th in the league, Bob, in strikeouts, and he's going to need that strikeout pitch tonight against this bunch.
Yeah, if he can get those 5 strikeouts, he'd be the youngest D-backs pitcher to ever reach the 200 mark in his season. Robbie Ray, the problem with Robbie is pitch count. We know it takes at least 3 pitches to strike out an opposing hitter. Occasionally, Robbie hits that limit very quickly in a ball game. Hopefully he'll be able to get deep in the game tonight.
Well, as we learned last night, the Diamondbacks can certainly slug with Colorado, led by 2 hot bats as of late, Yasmani Tomas and Brandon Drury. Drury hitting .420 in his last 16 games, and Tomas, he's hit 29 home runs, a grand slam last night.
Crazy numbers for these two last night. 8 for 10 combined. They had 2 doubles, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, and 6 runs between them. And that was just the highlight of the offense. Everybody contributed last night.
Those are your corner outfielders tonight, Drury in left and Tomas in right. We are set to go. De La Rosa for the Rockies and Robbie Ray for the Diamondbacks, second of a 3-game series. And the first pitch is coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money. Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Lone Butte Casino. Get in on big wins. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By MidFirst Bank. True to your money. And by Gigablast. 100 times more powerful internet from Cox. Bring on tomorrow. Oh, just floating our way down a teal Tuesday river into Chase Field. It's the second of a 3-game series. The D-backs and the Colorado Rockies. Left-hander Robbie Ray, 5 strikeouts away from 200 on the year. He'll get the baseball next on Fox Sports Arizona. Oh, what a great night to be at the ballpark. The roof and panels are open here in downtown Phoenix. Very comfortable 95 degrees. A great night for baseball. It's the D-backs and the Colorado Rockies. Diamondbacks a chance tonight to even the season series with the Rockies at 9 wins apiece heading into the final meeting of the year tomorrow night. Here's the lineup tonight for Walt Weiss's Colorado crew.
Charlie Blackmon once again leading it off out in center field. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Nolan Arenado down at third base. Carlos Gonzalez, big night last night. He'll be out in right field with Ryan Rayburn in left. Mark Reynolds at first base. Nick Hundley behind the plate. Christian Adames at shortstop. And Jorge De La Rosa, the lefty, on the mound.
And for the Diamondbacks, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher is Robbie Ray. 7 wins in 28 starts. Only 3 pitchers in the National League have more strikeouts than Robbie this season. He punched out 12 Dodgers in his previous start. That was last Wednesday in LA, but he got the loss of 3-1 D-backs defeat.
Yeah, 6 strong innings in that game. You mentioned the 12 strikeouts, gave up only 2 base hits, but the Dodgers managed to score 3 runs on those hits. Threw 101 pitches to get through 6, as I mentioned in the open. That is what gets Robbie more than the opposing lineup. Occasionally that pitch count will creep up there quickly.
Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks around Robbie Ray. Our eye on defense tonight, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Big offensive night for the guys on the corner. Yasmani Tomas in right, Brandon Drury in left. Mitch Haniger will be between them in center field. Jake Lamb and Chris Owings on the left side of the infield, with Gene Segura and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Wellington Castillo back behind the plate for lefty Robbie Ray.
And for the umpires, it's Clint Fagan. He'll have the balls and strikes. Manny Gonzalez at first base. Jim Reynolds, the second base umpire tonight. And the crew chief, Fieldon Culbreth, is at third. Rockies 6 under 500 on the year. They're 69 and 75. Still in it, in theory, 7 games out of a wild card spot, with 18 to play as Charlie Blackmon leads it off. And Robbie will have to be careful here. Blackmon 8 leadoff home runs this year, the most in the majors. He's got 20 career leadoff home runs. That's a Rockies record. Fastball is in there. Strike one. We're underway. Blackmon 4th in the league at .316. He's got 25 home runs. Fastball and slider for Robbie. Starts it off and it's 1-1. Blackmon, as he always seems to be, a real pain in the neck last night. 3 hits. Had a couple of doubles. He homered twice over the weekend at San Diego. Doubled up on the slider and he's behind 2 balls and a strike. Robbie Ray 5 strikeouts shy from becoming the 4th pitcher in Diamondbacks history to get to 200 strikeouts in a season. He would join Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, and Dan Herron on that list. Slider missed and the count is full 3-2.
Big difference is RJ usually had 200 right around the All-Star break.
Thereabouts. DJ LeMahieu on deck. Nolan Arenado in the hole.
Out there on the mound grunting once again in the early going here. He'll probably do it every pitch he throws in this ball game. There was a lot of grunting from the hitters in the ball game last night. Ooh.
There were a lot of hits.
Ooh, man, it was raining base hits here at Chase Field.
21 runs on 31 hits between these two last night. Blackmon putting up a fight here to start us off. All right, BB, time for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea for Robbie Ray if he can control the lefties. One of them at the plate right now, Charlie Blackmon. The other one hitting in the 4 spot, Carlos Gonzalez. Between them, they had 7 hits, 5 doubles, 3 runs scored, and 3 driven in last night.
Blackmon is one of the best left-hand hitters in baseball against left-hand pitching.
He's 10 for 17 against Robbie Ray this season. That works out to a .588 batting average.
Well, Blackmon just under .330 versus lefties this year. That includes 3 home runs and 165 plate appearances, so no small sample size. Blackmon works a leadoff walk.
Yeah, Robbie Ray incorporating a quick pitch. Just getting out of control. Like every pitcher we see has some variation of that Johnny Cueto quick pitch. That time just pulls that fastball off the outside corner.
Well, Robbie, who at times as a Diamondback has struggled with fastball command. It's been much better this year overall, but that's been an issue before. You wonder if the quick pitch is a great idea. So he goes from Blackmon, 4th in the National League in hitting, to DJ LeMahieu, who is 2nd in the league at .345. LeMahieu with 10 home runs. 4th in the league in hits, just behind Gene Segura. LeMahieu had a couple of hits and a walk last night. He scored 3 times. He's had 2 hits in each of his last 3 games. He'll keep an eye on Blackmon, who has not run nearly as much this year as he did last year. 16 stolen bases. He's been caught 7 times, including last night thrown out by Wellington Castillo, trying to steal 3rd in the 5th inning on a beautiful throw by Welly back there.
Now that inning could have been worse. Rockies scored 3 runs on 5 hits in that 5th inning, but Blackman thrown out at third base at least limited the damage somewhat.
One and one. What a beautiful night to be at the ballpark. We are so lucky to live here.
Orange sherbet skies tonight.
Look at that. Roof and panels open for business. LeMahieu drives it to center. Mitch Haniger's out there. Backing up, and it's off the wall. Stu Cole will wave Blackman home. The relay from Segura is not in time, and it's 1-0 Rockies. DJ LeMahieu, the RBI double, is 28th this year. So he's now reached base safely in 30 straight games, a career high.
Well, LeMahieu not known for his power, career high 10 home runs this season, but I think as he gets more experience, more at bats, he looks to drive the ball more in certain situations, certain counts. Bangs that one off the wall in deep center field. Charlie Blackman on his horse comes all the way around and scores from first base ahead of the relay throw.
So 2 batters in, it's 1-0 Rockies. Still nobody out. LeMahieu at second for Nolan Arenado. Fastball missed, and it's 1-0. Arenado, 37 home runs. That ties him with Chris Bryant for the National League lead. 120 RBIs, the most in the majors. He had 3 hits last night, all singles. Drove in 2 runs. There's the strike, and it's 1-1.
Most combined hits in a season series this year. The Diamondbacks and the Rockies atop the list. That double by DJ LeMahieu, the 400th hit in this season series between these two teams. That comes out to 25 hits a game.
This is like a softball beer league.
It really is.
Whew. So you're saying a 1-0 score probably won't hold up.
But probably not. I wouldn't be bunting quite yet.
I mean, they're just wearing both pitching staffs out. And the D-backs and the Padres this year are right behind. Shelby Miller last night, 6 runs on 9 hits. He went 5 innings. 1-2 on Arenado. LeMahieu at second, still nobody out. Fly ball right field. Long run for Tomas, and it lands fair. Arenado will score. It gets behind Yasmani and rolls back toward the bullpen, and Arenado cruises into third. It's 2-0 Colorado. Dropped it in a perfect spot, but then it somehow got behind Tomas.
Just fired a flare down that right field line, hits in fair territory, skips in foul territory, and he just overran at that time. Ball gets behind him all the way down near the bullpen area, allowing Arenado to advance all the way around to third base. LeMahieu scores easily from second.
So 3 batters for the Rockies, 2 have scored. Another one is 90 feet away. Carlos Gonzalez now. Cargo hitting .303 with 25 home runs.
Four hits last night for Cargo, including 3 doubles. I don't know if we've seen 3 harder hit balls this year than Carlos Gonzalez was firing out into right field.
Everything off his bat was a line drive rocket. One was measured by StatCast with an exit velocity of 118 miles an hour. Just the second time in his career Cargo has had 3 doubles in one game. He's had multiple hits in 3 of his last 4.
And a 9-game hitting streak here at Chase Field when he's gone 19 for 38 with 6 extra base hits and driven in 8. Not uncommon for visiting players to come in here and really get healthy with their offensive numbers.
Segura way out there in short right. Arenado will jog home with a third Rockies run, and Robbie Ray records his first out. Ryan Rayburn in left field tonight, the right-hander in there against the lefty Robbie Ray. 224 and 8 home runs. Rayburn's not played a whole lot lately now that Walt Weiss has about 70 guys on his bench. Just one hit in his last 13 at bats. That dates all the way to the last week of August, so it's been a while. Rockies may need an extra bus to bring all these guys around. You got a bunch of pitchers and a bunch of bench guys.
Yeah, we've talked about it since the September call-ups. It does create some logistical headaches, especially for the clubhouse attendants. You got to find a place to put all these guys so they can hang up their equipment and their uniforms, and occasionally guys will have to double up. Sometimes they put temporary lockers out in the hallway or in the shower.
Robbie Ray gets his first strikeout tonight, 2 down.
I might have just caught that inside corner. You can see from the first 2 pitches that's the intention, to try to crowd Rayburn inside. That one right on the corner at the knees.
Well, we mentioned we were just joking about the extra players, but it is an issue. And something's got to be done about September roster expansion. Buster Olney last night tweeted out there were 15 major league games last night. Only 1 went extra innings, but there were 142 pitchers used in baseball games last night. 142. Now think about all the pitching changes, all the warm-ups, all the walks back and forth to the mound, and then look at your time of game and say, I wonder why these games are so long. Might want to do something about September rosters. 1-1 on Mark Reynolds. Reynolds 279, 13 home runs. He was 0 for 4 last night. Robbie in full grunt mode with that fastball at 96, and it's 1-2. Base hit for Reynolds.
They had everybody shifted to the left side of the infield with the exception of Paul Goldschmidt, and Reynolds takes that outside fastball and just gets it by Goldie into right field for a 2-out base hit.
Brings up the catcher Nick Hundley.
That's kind of the evolution of Mark Reynolds. You wouldn't have seen him do that 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. He'd have tried to pull that pitch out of the ballpark, but in a 2-strike count takes that high 90s fastball and just kind of guides it through the right side. He'll take that 2-out knock.
Well, we mentioned this last night. He's got more base hits this year than he's had in a season in about 5 years. So he's really acclimated. Hundley's really hit the ball well lately. Batting .256 with 10 homers. He's hit safely in 6 straight games and 10 of his last 11.
And the one red flag we always keep an eye on with Robbie. Pitch count up to 27 already here in the first inning.
3 runs on 3 hits and a walk. He walked the leadoff man who scored. That one almost hit the governor. Just to our right here, Greg Schulte.
I think there's several state laws against that.
You cannot come near the governor with a foul ball. The moral compass, Mike Farron cowering under the desk over there. Mike Farron, by the way, have you seen the beard?
Yes, I have.
This is becoming a thing. The host of the very popular Snake Talk radio program. Heard after all Diamondback home games. The governor has insisted that Mike Farron not shave until the Diamondbacks win 3 in a row. So there's you can see Candy right over there. Now there's Mike Farron right there. Get him to show the beard. He won't. He's hiding his beard.
He won't be able to for long.
So they have to win 3 before Mike can shave. 3 in a row. 3-1 now on Hundley. See, he looks like a Santa Claus on a bender. Doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Hi, Mike. How you doing? Santa Claus wakes up on the park bench, paper bag in his hand. Wellington hung on to the foul tip, and it's a full count on the Rockies catcher.
It's a little like Carrot Top's other brother.
The talented one. Adames, the shortstop, would be next. So 3 consecutive wins. We need to win 3 in a row so poor Mike can shave. It's hot to have a beard like that around here. Reynolds takes off, and Hundley strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Robbie Ray, but the Rockies get 3. Diamondbacks coming up against Jorge De La Rosa. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Rockies is the crafty lefty Jorge De La Rosa. 8-7, and ERA right at 5. The last time he was handed the baseball at Chase Field opening day, and he's never pitched well in this ballpark. 1 win in 11 career starts at Chase Field.
Coming off an outing against the Giants, he got banged around, gave up 9 hits and 5 runs in 6 innings of work in that ball game, threw 93 pitches to get through his 6 innings. That's a really good straight changeup if it's working well for him. Oh, crafty lefty.
Yeah, he is the craftiest. And the leftiest, for that matter, whatever that means. Here's your lineup for Chip Hale's D-backs.
Gene Segura at second base, Chris Owings at shortstop, Paul Goldschmidt down at first base, Wellington Castillo will be doing the catching with Yasmani Tomas in right, Jake Lamb at third, Brandon Drury out in left field, Mitch Haniger in center field, and Robbie Ray on the mound.
Gene Segura, 9th in the league at 309, leads it off. Gene 3rd in the league in hits, 0 for 4 last night. The only Diamondback starter without a base hit. D-backs 12 runs on 16 hits. Segura had the 0 for.
Good team player. Somebody's got to make the outs.
Otherwise, be here all night.
That's right.
Just being thoughtful, that's all that is. Segura gets into one. Did he get enough of it? It's way up there, and there it goes. Gene Segura. That's his 13th career high, and it's 3-1. Buckle up, baby. Here we go again.
Welcome to D-backs versus Rockies. Wow. That was a skyscraper. That ball was really hit high in the air to left field.
So much for the 0 for 4.
Yeah. Somebody else can make the outs today. Got a breaking ball in that inside corner and just powdered it out of here to left field.
Chris Owings trying to bunt for a base hit, fouls that one off. Got to get the routine down. That's a big time jumbo jack. A free jumbo jack tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink from our friends at Jack in the Box. th home run given up in 22 starts by Jorge De La Rosa. Over the head of Arenado, and it rolls down the left field line. 22nd double for Chris Owings.
Take advantage. Trampoline base hit over the head of Nolan Arenado down there at third, playing in, protecting against that bunt that rarely comes. That one bounces over his head down into the left field corner.
Paul Goldschmidt now. Goldie singled and walked twice last night. He leads the major leagues in walks. 298 and 20 home runs.
We talked about that D-backs offense highlighted by Brandon Drury and Yasmani Tomas last night. The thing that was really impressive was they were 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position. In their previous 6 games, they were 5 for 33. More hits last night in one game with runners in scoring position than the previous 6 games.
De La Rosa behind on Goldie 2-0. D-backs facing Jorge De La Rosa for the 4th time this year. 3 previous starts, he's 1-0 with a 3.45 ERA. From Monterrey, Mexico, lives in Scottsdale in the offseason. 3 balls and no strikes to the big league walks leader. Wellington Castillo on deck. There goes Owings for third. CO steals third. Goldie walks. Stolen base number 17 for Chris Owings.
De La Rosa can be a little bit slow on his delivery to home plate. Not much Nick Hundley could do right there. Got out behind the runner there. Drop step and a fire down to third base, but Owings just beats it.
Well, the D-backs spotted the Rockies 3 in the home half of the first, and they're trying to get them all back right away. Owings at third, Goldie at first, a run in, still nobody out, and the batter is Wellington Castillo. Castillo 271. He's homered 13 times. 1 for 5 with a single last night. Goldie takes off for second. Hundley's throw is high. And Paul Goldschmidt has stolen base number 25. D-backs running wild on Jorge De La Rosa.
Well, they've certainly seen enough of him to know the difference between his pickoff move and his delivery to home plate. Only had to track way inside to receive that pitch. Kind of a tough angle to try to make that throw. Had no chance on that one either.
Now a single can tie the ball game. Castillo ahead 1-0. Splitter missed, 2 balls and no strikes. De La Rosa so far 11 pitches, only 4 for strikes. He's already walked 1. Three-0.
D-backs now with 122 stolen bases on the season. They've only been caught 29 times. That's an 81% success rate, highest in the majors. League average is only 71%.
Got a lot of good athletes on this ball club and the best first base coach of the business. A lot of guys on this team that run. Segura, Owings, Goldie's got 25 steals. Brandon Drury can run on you from time to time.
Everybody in the league thinks Jake Lamb's going to run on you on every pitch.
That's right. Does have 6 stolen bases. 3-2 on Beef Wellington. Big night last night for El Tanque Yasmani Tomas. Grand slam. He knocked in 5, his first career grand slam. 3-2 to Castillo. On the ground to shortstop. Adames boots it. And they record the out as Chris Owings scores the second D-backs run. Well, here is Yasmani Tomas. 4 hits last night, a double, and this grand slam, the first of his career.
Not surprising that Yasmani Tomas hit a home run with the bases loaded. It is surprising that he hit that pitch out of here to right center field. It was a fastball down and in. Somehow got his hands inside the ball and barreled it up to the gap in right center for his first career grand slam. First grand slam for the Diamondbacks all season.
Yasmani now with a 5-game hitting streak. He's homered in 2 of his last 3 games. Well, we've talked about how he loves anything inside. You get him jammed inside on the hands, he finds a way to get around on it somehow. How are we looking?
Good career numbers.
There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Yasmani has been doing his expected damage against left-hand pitching this year. .353 versus lefties with 10 homers. De La Rosa's already had Owings steal third on him, so he's getting a little nervous with Goldie behind him at second. Mayhew very close to that second base bag. Rockies got 3 in the top of this inning. A LeMahieu double, an Arenado triple, a Cargo groundout. Diamondbacks have answered with a Segura leadoff homer and an RBI ground ball by Wellington Castillo. Tomas ahead 2-1. Chris Owings a double, a stolen base, and a run scored in this inning. He continues to produce, batting second in the order for Chip Hale. That's worked out nicely. De La Rosa's been in a 3-ball count all night long. Now 3-1. There's that split change that he throws, kind of a Vulcan changeup, Mr. Spock grip to it. Been an effective pitch for him for a long time.
Yeah, depending on finger pressure, that pitch sometimes will fade away from the right-handed hitters. Other times it will break down and in, like that last one. Almost looked like a slow breaking ball ending up down and into Yasmani Tomas that time.
Full count, 3-2. Right back to the mound. Goldie's got to hustle back to second, and they retire Tomas. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Our eye on defense for Colorado, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Carlos Gonzalez out in right field again tonight. Charlie Blackmon in center. Ryan Rayburn getting the start in left field tonight. It'll be Arenado and Adames on the left side of the infield, with LeMahieu and Reynolds on the right side. U of A product, Nick Hundley behind the plate for lefty Jorge De La Rosa.
Another start against the left-hander for Jake Lamb. He was in there last night against rookie Tyler Anderson. Jake hitting .260. Second on the team with 28 home runs. He leads the Diamondbacks with those 87 RBIs. Goldie at second, 2 outs and 2 runs in. Jake had a pair of hits and a walk last night. He doubled and knocked in a run. He's hit safely in 4 straight. See the numbers on Jake. Base hit. It rolls into right center. Here comes Goldie. Lamb heads for second, and he is in there with an RBI double. The game is tied. Jake Lamb, another big hit against a left-hand pitcher.
Top 3 guys in the Rockies order scored in the top of the inning, and now the top 3 guys in the Diamondbacks order have scored in the bottom half of the first inning. Jake Lamb waited on that ball nicely. Might have caught it out near the end just a little bit, but gets it deep enough into that gap to drive home the run and put himself into scoring position at second base with his 28th double.
That's his first double tonight, his 28th on the year. Brandon Drury. Boy, his bat is red hot right now. 275, 12 homers. Another big night for Brandon last night. 4 for 5, a double and a home run. His second homer in 4 games. This was Brandon Drury last night off Jake McGee in the 7th.
Oh, nice adjustment to his swing. That big slow breaking ball. Got out in front and hooked that ball to left field. He was on everything last night.
His last 16 games, Drury hitting nearly .420. That one sneaks through Hundley, and Lamb moves up to third.
That looked like a cross-up just watching Nick Hundley's reaction to that pitch. Either a cross-up or the pitch did something he wasn't expecting.
They ruled it a wild pitch.
Off the webbing of the glove and then off the shin guard all the way to the backstop. Talked about this before. Ideally, the official scorer gets in contact with the Rockies bench, maybe De La Rosa, maybe Nick Hundley, and say what happened on that pitch.
All right, they've changed it now to put pass ball up on the board now. So Lamb at third, 2 outs, 3 runs in. Another one in the dirt. Three and 1 on Drury. Missed upstairs. Went with that high changeup. Second walk in the inning issued by Jorge De La Rosa.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Well, the Rockies sent 7 men to the plate in the first. 3 scored. Mitch Haniger, the 8th man to bat in the D-backs first with 3 runs in. Runners in the corners and 2 down. Mitch had his first major league home run last night, and it was no cheapie. He hit it over the camera well out there in dead center field. Jake Lamb at third, Brandon Drury at first. 2 outs. Wow, not far enough away from Hundley for Lamb to come in. This was Mitch Haniger last night. Goes down and gets it. It was a rough night for Jake McGee. Haniger led off the 7th with that home run. Then Drury followed a few batters later with his. De La Rosa now with 30 pitches in the inning. 17 of them balls.
And Mitch said after the ball game last night he felt like he was swinging too hard. And we've seen him take some pretty big hacks, especially on fastballs up in the zone. So he tried to shorten everything up just a little bit. Got good results last night.
Well, he struck out in his first 3 at bats last night before the homer. The home run snapped a 2 for 34 skid. So he's on to something. He knocks it into left. Here comes Lamb, and Mitch Haniger give the D-backs a 4-3 lead. You were saying about these 2 teams scoring a lot of runs?
Yeah, I didn't know what I was talking about.
Boy, you were way off.
I fully anticipated a pitcher's duel here tonight.
Well, who could blame you? Steve Foster out to the mound. Diamondbacks hit parade continues. They lead at 4-3. 4 hits and 2 bases on balls. De La Rosa having a really bumpy start. The bullpen will start to get cranked up. They got plenty of guys down there. Eddie Butler, former starter, working in relief now. Former #1 pick by Colorado. As Robbie Ray, the pitcher, will be the 9th man to bat in the D-backs first against Jorge De La Rosa. And Robbie can hit. Every once in a while he'll get into one. Brandon Drury at second, Mitch Haniger at first. One and one.
Fifth pitch of the inning for Jorge De La Rosa.
Well, his struggles in this ballpark continue. As we mentioned, 1 win in 11 starts here. For whatever reason, he's been very effective at Coors Field against the Diamondbacks, but in this ballpark, he really struggles. Robbie Ray stays alive. It's still 1-2. De La Rosa, given his long injury history, he always seems to be battling groin problems. Kind of like Troy Tulowitzki that way. A lot of lower leg issues in his career, so you don't want him having a 40-pitch inning. That won't do him any good. Bounces one to second just by Haniger. LeMahieu's there, and that ends the inning. But the Rockies put up 3. The D-backs answer with 4. And we're only 1 inning in. Gene Segura got it started. The leadoff homer is 13th this year. After 1, it's 4-3 Diamondbacks. 4, 3 after 1. Fans, the D-backs host the Dodgers here at Chase Field for a 4-game series starting on Thursday. And it's the perfect time to bring the whole family down here to the ballpark with a D-backs value pack. The value pack is a great deal. It includes a lower level bleacher ticket, a Subway sandwich, and a Pepsi, and all that for only $25. It's available for every home game. Just visit dbacks.com/value. And we'll see you down here later this week. 1 more against the Rockies, then 4 more against the Dodgers starting on Thursday. David Peralta bobblehead day coming up on Saturday.
Friday night, the Arizona Diamondbacks Foundation and Fox Sports Arizona teaming up for the annual television broadcast fundraiser.
Yeah, so come on down to the ballpark. Friday night fireworks. Archie Bradley pitches Thursday. Zach Greinke Friday. The shortstop Christian Adames leads off the second against Robbie Ray. Adames hitting .219. He's got 2 homers. One of those home runs came last week at Petco Park in San Diego. Struck out in his only at bat last night. That's this one in the air, right center field. Tomas coming in. Jorge De La Rosa will take the at bat in the second inning after just about a 40 pitch first.
Pitcher number 29, Jorge De La Rosa.
De La Rosa's 13th major league season, is 9th with the Rockies. No pitcher in Colorado history has won more games or put up more strikeouts. We'll see if Robbie Ray can settle in after a bumpy first inning. Gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. Walked the leadoff man who scored. Robbie needs 5 strikeouts for 200 on the season. He's already got 2 so far. He just faced the Rockies 2 starts ago. That was at Coors Field. And Robbie was just dominant through 4 innings. He looked as good as we've seen him. And then suddenly things just exploded. Colorado put together a 6-run 5th. Kind of came out of nowhere. And it got ugly quickly. One and 2.
Seemed to be a little bit of a common theme among Diamondback starters this year. We saw it happen to Shelby Miller last night. We've seen it happen to Zach Greinke a couple of times this year. It's kind of infested the entire rotation where they're just cruising along in a ball game, seemingly totally in command as Robbie strikes out De La Rosa. And then for whatever reason, the wheels just seem to come off.
Yeah, Shelby last night, as you take another look at the Robbie Ray strikeout, his 3rd. Shelby was perfect through 3 innings, 9 up, 9 down. But then the Rockies had 6 batters reach in the 4th inning against him. They got 3 runs in the 4th and 3 more in the 5th, and that was the end of Shelby's night. Rockies actually scored 3 runs in 3 consecutive innings, the 4th, 5th, and 6th. Charlie Blackmon led off the game with a walk. He scored a run.
Big 2 outs to start this inning. You get that 8-9 hitter at the bottom of this Rockies order and roll around to the top with the bases clean and 2 outs. And we've seen what happens when you get runners on base ahead of the guys at the top and middle of this Rockies order.
Blackmon just under .330 against lefties this year, including 3 home runs. One and 2, 96 mile-an-hour fastball from Robbie. Went to the breaking ball, and Blackmon just did get a piece of it.
You see that upper body bend over the way Charlie Blackmon did at the end of that swing. He's trying to extend, get out there off the outside corner, and just try to get a piece of that breaking ball to stay alive, and he was able to do that.
Wellington Castillo wants that pitch elevated. Boy, Blackmon did this his first time, fouled off a bunch of pitches before he eventually worked a walk. '97 missed away, and it's 2-2. See if Robbie does that thing with his lips again. Right there. Gets him to chase. Went back to the slider. Castillo will complete the strikeout. That's 4 in the ball game, 2 in the inning for Robbie Ray. Diamondbacks lead at 4-3.
D-backs over the Rockies. Hey fans, a D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack-in-a-Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
And we've already got one. Gene Segura led off the bottom of the first with a homer against Jorge De La Rosa, and now he leads off the bottom of the second. Segura's home run is 13th of the year. That's a new career high. His previous high had been 12, set 3 years ago when he was an all-star in Milwaukee. High, deep, gone, all those things out to left field. Sky high to center. It backs up Blackmon. Still backing up near the track, and he's got it for the first out.
Another well-struck ball by Gene Segura. Unfortunately, just hit it to the wrong part of the park out there in deep center field.
Chris Owings, the bat continues to produce. A double, a stolen base. He scored a run. Chris, since he's become the everyday shortstop, last 39 games, has hit .311. 1-2.
Just looking around the Rockies defensively and thinking to myself how mentally tough you have to be a position player for the Colorado Rockies, because a lot of times you're standing out there on defense for a half hour at a time.
Well, they got some gold glovers out there, that's for sure. Arenado at third, LeMahieu at second, Cargo in right. All guys have won gold gloves. De La Rosa rings up Owings. First strikeout for Jorge De La Rosa, 2 down.
High breaking ball that time, right at the very top of the zone. Wow.
Lynn Fagan gives him the high strike call. 2 down for Goldie, who walked and stole a base his first time. Went right back to that curveball, and it's 1-0.
Keeps messing around with that breaking ball up at the top of the strike zone.
Yep.
Going to go through a lot of baseballs tonight.
Well, trying to defuse that bomb, eventually he's going to pull the wrong wire, and somebody's going to go off. Curveball and that split change so far from De La Rosa. 1-1 to Goldie. Rockies with 3 in the top half of the first. Diamondbacks answered with 4 in the home half. Base hit. Wellington Castillo knocked in a run with a ground out his first time up. Dodgers are at Yankee Stadium again tonight. LA is trailing 3-0 in that ball game. Actually, that's just gone final. Yankees win it. So the Dodgers have lost. That's good news for the Giants. They're hosting the Padres. No score in the second inning at AT&T Park. Rockies still theoretically in the postseason picture. 7 back of the wild card, with 18 to play. 6 under 500 for the year.
Mets beat the Nationals today in 10 innings, 4-3. Since August 20th, the Mets have gone 17-6 to go from 5.5 games out of the National League wild card to 1 game up.
Everybody wrote them off. All their pitchers were hurt. Jay Bruce wasn't hitting. Reyes has been a spark plug for him. And the Mets and Cardinals both on the Giants' heels in the wild card picture. Cardinals are leading the Cubs at Busch Stadium 4-2. They're in the 7th. After Kyle Hendricks took a no-hitter into the 9th last night. Jeremy Hazelbaker broke it up with a leadoff homer. De La Rosa snags that one, and that ends the inning. We'll head to the 3rd at Chase Field. D-backs lead the Rockies 4-3.
fans, where am I at here? We invite you to participate in Gila River game nights by signing up at one of the interactive kiosks located right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Do you have your ring cased in glass like that one was?
No. I mean, I usually wear mine. I've been remiss recently. I locked it in the safe, and every time I come to the ballpark, I get halfway here and remember that I forgot.
DJ LeMahieu leads off the third. Some of the sights of Chase Field. Looks good. LeMahieu had an RBI double. He scored a run his first time up. He's now reached base safely in 30 straight games. That's a career high for him. And he's hit safely in 5 straight and 10 of his last 11. Fastball is strike 2. Robbie's retired 4 in a row. He needs one more strikeout for 200 on the year. Began tonight tied for 4th with the Mets' Noah Syndergaard for the National League strikeout lead. Only 3 batters in the league have struck out more than Robbie Ray this year. LeMahieu sends that one foul.
LeMahieu, not an easy guy to strike out. He did punch out in his first at bat in the ball game last night, which is a rarity. That'd be a feather in your cap to get your 200th against a guy that is really tough to strike out.
Came inside with that fastball. Like to see that, but it missed. It's 2-2. Worked that fastball to both sides of the plate. High fly ball headed for the seats in right. Tomas may have room here, and Yasmani with the pirouette. He's got it. Style points for that one.
Yeah, you can only look down so many times, and then you have to lock onto that baseball and just use your judgment how close you're coming to that side wall. Tomas went into a little jump right there to kind of protect his body and comes up just short of the wall. Nice play.
Nolan Arenado. An RBI triple in his first at bat. He scored a run. Look at those numbers. 37 homers, 121 RBIs. First Rocky with at least 30 homers and 100 RBIs in consecutive seasons since Matt Holliday in 06 and 07. That was the year of the Rockies World Series appearance, 2007. Doubled up on the slider. 2 balls and a strike. Robbie does believe that slider is better this year for him. Has a better break, more consistent break. He'll still mix in the occasional curveball. Fastball away, and it's 2-2.
Hey, look at the guy at the plate, Nolan Arenado, and the guy in the on-deck circle, Carlos Gonzalez. 2 guys that would have fit in very well historically with the Colorado Rockies back in the days of the Blake Street Bombers.
You think? That whole group, Walker and Galarraga, Ellis Burks, a whole bunch of them. Oh, Goldie knocks it down, but he can't grab it, and it rolls out to short right. He hustles after it. Arenado has his second hit. He's 2 for 2.
Right fielder Carlos Gonzalez.
Great thing about Goldie is watch the hustle after the ball. He realizes that Tomas is not going to get there. He doesn't want Arenado sneaking at a second, so he chases after that one quickly.
And with the shift on, Gene Segura was on the other side of the bag on the shortstop side of second base, so Goldie was really the only guy that could get to that ball quickly enough to hold Arenado to first.
Here is Carlos Gonzalez, an RBI ground out in his first at bat. Rockies got 3 in the top of the first. Diamondbacks answered with 4 in the home half. First pitch slider, and it's 0-1. Gonzalez hitting .500 at Chase Field this year. He's 13 for 26.
As remarkable as that is, it seems worse.
You're right, it does, doesn't it? Another slider. Seen a lot of sliders from Robbie in this inning.
Well, a guy that throws as hard as Robbie does, hitters naturally get that bat started a little bit earlier, and that makes him susceptible to a well-located slider. Robbie's jumped ahead in the count 0-2.
And the Diamondbacks, as they often do, wait until there's a 2-strike count on the left-hand hitter, and then they move Jake Lamb over from third to where he is right now, behind second base ump Jim Reynolds. Boy, how about Goldie's quick glove hand? No chance of that getting by him.
He's him bounce off that bag after holding on the runner, so he knows that's clearly going to be a foul ball, but yeah, why not go ahead and practice what you do. Use that glove.
Well, these two guys have had a running conversation down there the whole series so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, Arenado's been down there
exactly
long enough to read the Gettysburg Address.
He had 3 singles last night. Gonzalez sky high to center, playable for Haniger. 2 outs.
Fargo has you know, what you would call a prototypical left-handed swing. It seems long, it has some lift in it. The prettier left-handed swings, kind of breaks down on that back leg as he finishes with that high fly ball into center field. Boy, when his timing is good, when he has that big front leg kick going and the hands moving at the right time, as we documented last night, he can hit it as hard as anybody.
He is really streaky, but when he's on a hot streak, it's almost impossible to get him out. He can go on these crazy 2-week-long runs where he's getting 3-4 hits a night. Ryan Rayburn struck out looking his first time up. Robbie, one more strikeout away from 200 for the year. That's out of play. Rayburn 7 homers before the All-Star break. He's homered only once in the second half. Not playing as often as he did in the first half of the year. He's hitting only .214 since the break. .223 on the year. Robbie, as he's put up some strikeout numbers in pursuit of 200, is Been pretty impressive. Punched out 12 Dodgers in LA last week. August 20th, a career high 13 strikeouts at San Diego. 10 strikeouts at Cincinnati, and then 11 in Milwaukee in his start after that. He's got 80 strikeouts in 58 innings since the All-Star break. With behind on Rayburn, a dangerous right-hand hitter for Robbie Ray. 3-1. Another high fly ball. This one drifting over to right center. Haniger has it. Yeah, that's the end of the inning. Robbie Ray strands the one-out single. He's got a 4-3 lead. As a reminder, when you can't watch the games on your television, you can stream them live on your mobile device. Just use the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app and take Fox Sports Arizona and Diamondbacks baseball with you wherever you go. As Manny Tomas leads off the third against Jorge De La Rosa. Tomas tapped back to the mound his first time up, coming off his 4-hit game last night. Tomas has been a problem for the Rockies all year. 15 games versus Colorado. He's hitting just under .420. Drives that one to the pool. Fargo cuts it off. Tomas will settle for a leadoff single.
On top of one. That grand slam last night was on a pitch down and in. That time a pitch up over the middle of the plate, just bangs it out into that gap in right center again. Seeing the ball really big right now.
Jake Lamb, the start at third against the lefty, had an RBI double and scored a run back in the first. D-backs got 4 in the home half of that first inning. So Jake's now hit safely in 5 straight. Pitch count climbing quickly for Jorge De La Rosa. He's really struggled throwing strikes today. Only 2 more strikes than balls to this point. He's walked 2. Now behind on Lamb, 3-0. Lynn Fagan didn't give him the call on that fastball.
See if De La Rosa challenges here. Throws a strike on the 3-0 pitch. I would assume Jake Lamb has the green light if it's to his liking.
Oh, fastball inside, but it's a strike at 3-1.
May have been a strike, but if you do have the green light 3-0, it better be your dream pitch.
Yep.
The one you wake up in the middle of the night dreaming about hitting to win a ball game.
That's out of play, and it's 3-2.
Because if you swing at that pitch 3-0 and jam yourself and hit a little pop up to the left side of the infield, you probably won't get the green light 3-0 very much longer.
Brandon Drury on deck. Good at bat by Jake Lamb. 3rd walk tonight issued by De La Rosa, and the first 2 have reached in the D-backs 3rd.
Left fielder, Brandon Drury.
So against the lefty, Lamb has doubled and walked. 2 on, no outs for Drury, who had a base on balls his first time. Tomas at second, Lamb at first. Hundley has to scramble back there to collect that fastball. De La Rosa has not been sharp tonight.
One of those high changeups.
Just keep throwing those.
Oh my.
Keep throwing them. 60 pitches, only 31 strikes. What a night for Brandon last night. 4 for 5, a double and a homer. He's had multiple hits in 6 of his last 9 games. Went to the splitter.
You watch Brandon Drury, it reminds me of something I heard a football coach say one time. They asked him what was the best attribute a linebacker could have, and he said the inability to immediately recognize pain. Brandon Drury fouls balls off his foot. He gets hit in the arm with a line drive off the bat of Jake Lamb the other day. He doesn't even acknowledge it.
Standing in the on deck circle, took one right in the bicep. It was like a fly. He's so focused on hitting, he doesn't have time to think about if it hurts or not.
I got plenty of time to hurt in November.
It's almost like it just doesn't occur to him.
I've always kind of liked that one. The inability to immediately recognize pain. Yeah, what was that? I don't know. I'll get it later.
Ain't got time to bleed.
Yeah.
Making De La Rosa work. Already well over 60 pitches, and he's yet to record an out in the 3rd. Bullpen is busy again for the Rockies. Eddie Butler was warming up earlier.
De La Rosa spraying them all over the place. Some in the strike zone, some inside, some outside, a couple down.
It's like buckshot.
Yeah.
Let's try that high changeup again.
Yeah, one more time.
Oh, dropped in a curveball and rings up Drury. Second strikeout for De La Rosa.
Not a good pitch. I mean, he's called some of those breaking balls up there, but this one doesn't quite make it back to that outside corner.
Yeah, that's not a strike. Mitch Haniger. Mitch had an RBI single in his first at bat tonight, after his first major league home run last night. That one was off a lefty, Jake McGee. There go the runners. Suddenly throw to third. And that's in plenty of time to get Yasmani Tomas.
Well, it looked like he had a really good jump right there. Hundley makes the throw right on the bag to get Tomas that time.
Well, the D-backs had 2 on, nobody out. Got him on the toe. Now Lamb's at second and 2 down. Pitcher's up next, first base open now, so Haniger gets the free pass. This will be the 4th walk issued by De La Rosa. And they'll work to Robbie Ray.
Tomas going into third base there, attempting to steal. That was an old-fashioned, what we used to call a hook slide. The whole body's on the outfield side of the bag. You just kind of reach back with that left foot and try to hook the corner of the base. We see more guys do it with the head first slide now.
Yeah, but you know what's great about that? You can't break a hand.
Yeah.
Like Chris Herman did the other day. By the way, Chris had surgery on that broken left hand. Dr. Sheridan performed that. So De La Rosa now at 70 pitches through 2 2/3. 2 on and 2 out for Robbie Ray. That's a foul, and it's 0-1. Hey fans, D-back season ticket holders, enjoy perks like early entry into Chase Field, opportunities to see batting practice from down on the field, access to exclusive events, and a whole lot more. You can become a 2017 D-back season ticket holder today. Visit dbacks.com or visit our season ticket holder kiosk right here at the ballpark. They'll answer all your questions. And when you think about season tickets, come down here, they'll walk you all over the park. You can sit in as many seats as you want. Check out the view. Do I want to sit in the middle? Do I want to sit on the end? Couple rows up, couple rows back, one section over, third base side, first base side. You can sit wherever you want. Get a look before a game one day.
I'd be close to Mike and Sharon's kettle corn or the Wetzel's pretzels.
Yeah, that's a tough choice.
Pizza or hot dogs. Pick the ideal seat for you.
We see that when we're at the ballpark early every day. We see that all the time. There's Mike and Sharon's, Arizona's best. But Diamondbacks will have a season ticket representative walking around some season ticket people, and they'll try different seats, see what they like. You can pick them out, design your own season ticket plan. dbacks.com. That's the one thing you wonder when you get tickets to a game. Well, gee, I wonder if these are good seats. Well, if you're going to invest in season tickets, you want to make sure you get the seat you like, so we'll make sure that you do.
No doubt about it. And a lot of people, I know a lot of my friends, obviously 81 games is a lot. That's a big commitment over the course of a summer. Get together with some of your friends, pool your resources, and parlay it.
We'll see you down here at the ballpark, where through 3, D-backs lead the Rockies 4-3. All the runs were scored in the first inning. And it's time for our Gigalife high-speed highlights presented by Cox. The Rockies started it off with 3 in the top half against Robbie Ray. DJ LeMahieu an RBI double, Arenado an RBI triple, Cargo an RBI groundout. But then the Diamondbacks answered. Segura starts it off with a homer, his 13th. And off we go. Owings doubled. A couple of stolen bases in that inning. Castillo RBI ground out. Jake Lamb RBI double. It just went on and on and on. Mitch Haniger knocked in a run.
Wow. A lot of action. 69 pitches, 40 minutes in that first inning.
It's been a pitcher's duel ever since. Mark Reynolds leads off the 4th. Reynolds singled in that Colorado first. This will stay playable for Goldie in foul ground. Well, Robbie's now retired 8 of the last 9 he's faced. It'll work to the catcher Nick Hundley, who struck out to end that first inning. Hundley's really hit the ball well over the last month. .324 in his last 18 games, including 5 home runs. Fastball is a strike. It's 0-1. One change that Robbie Ray says he's made this year. It's his initial step when he first begins his motion. You'll notice before he stepped a little horizontally. Now he says he's kind of back at a 45-degree angle with that first foot that goes back right there, 45 degrees. That's one thing that he's changed. Feels a lot more comfortable that way. That was a Mike Butcher suggestion. Step back instead of sideways. And Robbie believes that's helped the fastball command, and he's able to repeat mechanics. It all begins with a single step, as they say. But apparently he believes something as simple as that makes a real difference.
You see that pitching toe on the left foot. Every time he delivers a ball, he drags that left toe from the rubber up forward on the mound. So they have a variety of different ways to cover that pitching toe. Otherwise, you just tear a hole right in the shoe.
Yeah. But it's you can see how simple and clean the motion is. And it's all part about just getting him to repeat, being nice and smooth and consistent. Three-two pitch.
That really is one of those subjective things. I mean, obviously there are certain mechanical things you need to do to get into a good throwing position, but a lot of pitchers this year we've seen start facing first base in the case of a left-handed pitcher, or facing third base in the case of a right-handed pitcher. They don't take any step back. Houston Street starts on the third base side of the rubber, slides all the way across to the first base side, and then steps back to the third base side before he even lifts the front leg and gets ready to deliver the ball.
Hundley smashes one deep to center. That's off the base of the wall. He continues to swing the bat well for Colorado. A one-out double, his 19th this year.
Shortstop, Christian Adames.
Didn't quite get that one in enough.
It's like Hundley was trying to wish that ball out of the ballpark. Came very close out there, just short of the 413 mark for a double.
We talked about that. Aravi has pitched right-hand hitters inside with that fastball a lot more often this year. But if you're going to go in there, you got to make sure you get it in.
You mentioned that start against the Padres when he struck out a career high 13. We talked about that night. He was bullying the Padres hitters inside.
It's like a Charles Atlas ad, sand in the face on the beach. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. A lot of broken bats, a lot of check swings.
And if you're going to come inside like that to righties, it's only going to make the slider more effective too. The shortstop, Christian Adames. On the ground is Segura. This will move Hundley into third. 2 outs. Time now for our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms. Strikeout leaders for the D-backs and the Rockies. Robbie right now at 199. And former first-round pick John Gray leads the Rockies with 156. Gray's a guy drafted out of Oklahoma. He was throwing 102 miles an hour as a Sooner, pitching once a week. Jorge De La Rosa, the pitcher. Hundley at third, 2 outs. Giants are trailing again. Padres now lead at 1-0 at San Francisco. Giants got to have that ball game. Dodgers lost 3-0 in New York. 0-2. Oh, Robbie, 1 strikeout away from 200 on the year. And this will complete 200. He strands the 1-out double and keeps it a 4-3 D-backs lead. Strikeouts tonight. He is now the 4th pitcher in D-backs history to get 200 strikeouts in a season, joining Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling, and Dan Herron.
Pretty prestigious list right there. That's quite an accomplishment for a pitcher. I mean, position players, batters all have milestones they'd like to reach over the course of the season. Whether it's 20 homers, 25 homers, 30 homers, 100 runs driven in. .300 batting average, and for a starting pitcher, 200 strikeouts. That's a good season.
Sure is. And let's see, that has come in 159 and 1/3 innings. 200 strikeouts and 159 and 1/3 innings. Gene Segura homered to lead off the ball game for the Diamondbacks. He's 1 for 2. And he leads off the 4th against lefty Jorge De La Rosa. Segura had been slumping. He was 4 for 32 before the home run. And he's hit something of a slow patch here. Gene, over his previous 15 games, hitting only .215. But still 3rd in the league in hits, 9th in hitting. Bidding for another one right here. Rayburn at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Gene, the hitting machine. That's his 2nd tonight and his 14th on the year. It's 5-3 D-backs. That's Tacos.
That was almost identical to the first home run. Just a towering blast to left field. Plenty high enough. He just didn't know if he had the distance. Rayburn tracked it all the way back to the wall, but that one sailed well out of here once again.
Chris Owings drives one to left center. Rayburn tracks that one down, and that's the first out in the bottom of the 4th. Gene Segura now with 14 homers. His previous career high had been 12.
Was in the air a long time.
Another jumbo jack. 3 jumbo jacks tomorrow with the purchase of a large drink from Jack in the Box. Here's Goldie. Curveball is strike 1. What a year he's had. He has been, at least for me, the no-brainer MVP of this Diamondback ball club from the first day to the last.
And without really doing a lot of research behind it, I got to believe he's a leading candidate for comeback player of the year as well in the National League.
Be a great pick. Got lots of guys to choose from. Goldie's put up his usual numbers, but for me, it's been Segura's consistency. The defense has been sensational at a new position, second base. He never played anything but shortstop before this year. He's hit for power. He's gotten on base. And the energy that he's brought to the top of this lineup, you just can't replace that.
Well, and why wouldn't you? But he really seems to be enjoying himself too. He's having fun playing the game again. You know, when you're involved in everything offensively, defensively, the base running, and when you're the guy that's right in the middle of everything, it's hard not to have fun.
He loves hitting leadoff, and he loves the fact the Diamondbacks didn't try to change who he is. Goldie smacks one. There's that Goldie sound, and it rolls to the wall. A walk, a single, now a double. That's number 31 for Goldie, and that had that familiar tune to it that we love to hear here at Chase. Take a listen. This is the Goldie sound we often talk about. Sounds a little louder than that usually. Long, slow walk to the mound for Walt Weiss. And this is going to be it for Jorge De La Rosa, who really was not sharp at all tonight and has been knocked around. He walked 4, 1 intentionally, struck out 3. Only 1 win in 11 career starts in this ballpark, and his night will end early. Diamondbacks lead at 5-3.
in the bottom of the fourth with 1 out. Hey, fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50. PapaJohns.com.
New pitcher for the Rockies, a former first-round pick 4 years ago out of Radford University. It's Eddie Butler, who's been up and down this year. He was first recalled from AAA Albuquerque April 27th, sent back down there July 5th. So now he's back. He made 15 starts down in AAA. Only 13 appearances in the big leagues this year, an ERA just over 6.5.
12 homers in 57 innings pitched this year for Butler.
A run is in on the Segura homer. Goldie at second after his double, 1 out, and here's Wellington Castillo, who takes a fastball for ball 1. Castillo has twice grounded out, once for an RBI. Eddie Butler, another case of the Rockies trying to develop a young pitching staff. They've taken several pitchers with first-round picks in recent years. We talked about John Gray earlier. Eddie Butler's another one. Last year made 16 starts, went just 3-10.
Like the Zach Greinke changeup at 88. Butler throws hard, mid-90s with the fastball, and the changeup that time at 88 just off the outside corner got the swing and a miss. Two and two.
Glenn Sherlock, the original Diamondback, on the left there. Not too many coaches been around this game like Sherles has.
And every time it comes up, we say there's a reason for that. He is one of the best catching instructors in the game. He has worked with some really good ones here in Arizona.
Butler brings the heat and strikes out Castillo. 2 down.
Just a challenge fastball inside part of the plate, just above the knees at 95.
Yasmani Tomas now. Tomas singled in the third. He's 1 for 2. That one gets behind Hundley. That's happened a few times already as Goldie moves into third. Now he wants to go talk to the young Eddie Butler.
Maybe a cross up. A little slider that time. Didn't look like anything unusual. He just clanked it off the webbing of the glove all the way to the backstop.
Yeah, both times the ball's gotten behind him. It was balls that he arguably should have caught. The first was a pass ball. That one scored a wild pitch. Two and 0.
For a couple of hitters there when De La Rosa was in the ball game, it looked like he was playing keep away. The ball was clanking off of Nick Hundley's glove. He was throwing him in the dirt all over the place.
Osmani this year against the Rockies, 15 games. He's got 10 extra base hits and 17 RBIs. He has been feasting on Colorado pitching. Tries another one into right center. Goldie scores, and it's 6-3 D-backs. El Tanque has Manny Tomas 2 for 3.
A little bit of a cue shot off the end of the bat. A pitch down out of the strike zone at 95. He just flips it out there into center field for an RBI base hit.
And that great picture of Yasmani on the latest edition of D-backs Insider magazine, sitting on that tank. El Tanque. Here's Jake Lamb. Jake has doubled and walked. He's also stolen a base, scored a run, and knocked in a run. This is why they call him El Tanque. How about that? Show us your guns. La Cueva de los D-backs. There's a good shot of the David Peralta bobblehead that's coming up on Saturday here. First 20,000 fans get the Peralta bobblehead. That's courtesy of Ram Trucks. Dodgers lost at Yankee Stadium tonight 3-0. 0-2 on Lamb. The freight train. We'll have to maybe get the freight train up here for a half inning or get them on headsets or something. Let's get Dennis Lamb working on that. Star of the Dennis Lamb Show. You're going to have to get your whistle out.
I got it.
Look forward to that. Maybe they'll try and get Peralta on the bobblehead day coming up. Diamondbacks get 2 more. Gene Segura. 2 home runs tonight. Numbers 13 and 14. D-backs playing long ball at 6-3. Fifth inning, fun times in the RamTrucks.com pool area. D-backs lead the Rockies 6-3. Hey fans, first 10,000 fans 21 and older will get the final giveaway of the year as modeled here by the lovely Mike. That's the D-backs beer stein, Saturday, October 1st, courtesy of Budweiser. You've turned it into kind of a microphone cozy there.
It is. It's a microphone koozie. I also wanted to prove that I wasn't drinking on the job, so I put the microphone in the beer stein to prove I didn't have this full of Budweiser.
Oh, nobody would have known.
I'm just saying.
You could have kept that under your hat if you want to.
Make sure everything's on the up and up here in the booth.
We're not going to throw you under the bus on that. So that's the first 10,000 fans 21 and older coming up Saturday, October 1st. That's the last weekend of the season. D-backs take on the Padres, a 5-10 game. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. And if you're one of the first 10,000 fans 21 and older, you'll get the D-backs beer stein.
This thing's solid. It weighs like half a pound.
Well, you've got a microphone in it.
Well, no, even without the microphone, it's pretty heavy.
Imagine what
good stuff.
How much it'll weigh when you fill it up.
Probably 12 to 16 ounces more, I'm guessing.
Good call. Will it sink or float? That's the question.
Yeah. I'm guessing this would sink.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know. We got floater sink later tonight. Maybe we'll try this.
I'm just a suggestion. You know, as sort of a promotional tie-in.
I like it. Teamwork.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
The lovely Mike. Charlie Blackmon now. Yeah, final of the 3 games of the year. Coming up September 30th, October 1st, October 2nd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday against the Padres right here at Chase Field, and that is it. Got 1 more against the Rockies here tomorrow, then 4 against the Dodgers before we head out on the road. Charlie Blackmon sends this one down the road.
Go ball.
Has Manny Tomas at the wall, and that one is gone. Charlie Blackmon, that's his 26th. It's a 6-4 ball game.
That ball is really carrying well tonight. We've seen Gene Segura hit a couple of skyscraper fly balls to left that got out of here. Charlie Blackmon that time cast that ball high in the air to right center, and it just kept carrying and carrying. Tomas looked like he had a bead on it as he got back to the warning track, but bumps up against the fence as he tries to make the catch.
It's funny, Charlie Blackmon is by no means a Coors Field product. That's his 26th home run. 16 of them have come on the road. DJ LeMahieu. th home run given up by Robbie Ray this year in his 29th start. LeMahieu had an RBI double in the first. He's 1 for 2. Charlie Blackmon having a big second half of the year. Just killing the ball since the All-Star break. So is LeMahieu. He's hit just about 360 since the break with 5 homers. Robbie behind 3-0. He has walked 1. That was Blackmon to lead off the ball game. He scored on a LeMahieu double.
Robbie really using that fastball a lot tonight, especially to the right-handed hitters. He's only thrown 8 sliders to right-handed hitters in the entire ball game. 15 to left-handed hitters.
Full count, 3-2. Arenado, who's 2 for 2. What else is new? Is on deck. He has tripled, singled. Probably now over 90 pitches. No one throwing in the Diamondback bullpen, but there is some stirring. This guy's starting to get loosened up a bit down there. Tomas got it. Hey fans, follow D-backs baseball live with the MLB.com at bat app. You can stay up to the moment with game day, live game video highlights, statcast, news, the whole thing. Just download MLB.com at bat. The #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Arenado has tripled, singled, knocked in a run. He scored a run. Had 3 hits last night. How about that swing by Nolan Arenado? He's always been an aggressive hitter, but man, he almost came out of his shoes that time. Talking about some of the Rockies who've had big second halves. They've been above 500 since the All-Star break. Colorado. Arenado, 56 games since the All-Star break. He's got 51 RBIs. Leading the majors in runs batted in. Takes another big hack. 1-2. Got that front foot all protected. Got about 3 or 4 pads on that foot, ankle, shin.
Fouled one right off that foot pad last night. Came unstrapped.
Boy, he is up there swinging, and Robbie Ray comes with a fastball, gets his 6th strikeout. Arenado took 3 massive cuts in that at bat and missed them all.
And this one on an elevated fastball, 96 up above the top of the zone. That'll play any day, especially in a 2-strike count.
I like the K's out there. That's 6 for Robbie. Nice job, guys. Let's get that going out there behind Yasmani Tomas in right field. Carlos Gonzalez 0 for 2. He has grounded out, flied out. D-backs have the shift on, and it's ball 1. No real worries about sitting Gonzalez against a lefty. He can handle himself pretty well up there. He takes an Arenado swing that time. 1-1. Gonzalez just under 280 versus left-hand pitching this year. And he's got 10 homers against lefties. Those are the kinds of numbers you'd like to see Jake Lamb get to. Wait, is there a memo? Did they get a memo in the Rockies dugout? Swing as hard as you can all the time. Arenado screwed himself into the ground striking out, and Cargo has taken 2 massive hacks in this at bat. Checked his swing. Yes, he did, says Field and Culbert. Good call. That's leaking toward the seats. There's nobody over there anyway, and it's behind the dugout. They have the shift on. Owings was the only guy near the baseball, and CO is a good 90 feet away. There you see the D-back bullpen back there. Nobody throwing as of yet. Where do you want me, says Jake Lamb. Robbie now over 100 pitches. Just gets a piece of that. Another big cut. That one got Clint Fagan back there.
Clint Fagan right in the mask that time. Right center.
Pitcher spot will bat 3rd in the Diamondback 5th. Nobody warming up yet. See how long it takes Robbie to get out of this inning. He has walked 1. He's got 6 strikeouts. Giving up 4 runs on 6 hits. And he gets Cargo. Went to the slider for the strikeout. That's his 7th. But Blackman's homer makes it a 6-4 D-backs lead. game coming up Saturday. The David Peralta bobblehead, courtesy of Ram Trucks. D-backs will take on the Dodgers. That's a 5:10 start on Saturday. Get your tickets and your bobblehead at dbacks.com. Brandon Drury leads off the bottom of the 5th inning. That's a great looking David Peralta bobblehead, almost as good as that Bierstein. The Bierstein. That's water, right?
Yeah.
That's the David Peralta. You got to come to rehearsals.
I'm sorry.
Seriously, that is a great looking.
You know, you got to look really closely too. It's very authentic. It's got the snake skin down the back of the ankles and on the shoulders of the jersey, the Los D-backs jersey. That is a nice giveaway right there.
Coming up on Saturday, Brandon Drury gives it a ride. There it goes. It's in the pool. Splashdown for Brandon Drury. That's his 13th. He's got 3 homers in his last 5 games, and it's 7-4 Diamondbacks. He is just killing the ball right now.
Oh, man, what a nice approach that time by Brandon Drury. Most of the hits he's had recently have been pulls into left field, but that time stayed on a pitch away from him and dunked it into the pool out there in right center.
On the fly, here's Mitch Haniger. Brandon Drury, a walk and a home run tonight after he was 4 for 5 with a home run last night, a jumbo jack. The 3rd D-backs homer tonight. Segura's got 2. Now Drury has 1. That is a home run. Good call. Haniger got his first major league home run in the ball game last night. Now 10 hits for the D-backs. They have out-hit Colorado 10-6. They lead at 7-4. 2-2 on the D-backs center fielder. Pitcher spot is up next, and Phil Gosselin is in the on-deck circle. So that'll be it for Robbie Ray. Matt Cook, rookie right-hander, warming up in the D-backs bullpen. Get a chance to get a look at him as Haniger looks at strike 3. That's the 3rd strikeout for Butler. He's only faced 5 batters. So that's it for Robbie. He goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs on 6 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 7. Gosselin will hit for Ray with 1 out in the 5th. There's Matt Cook. Saw him make his major league debut over the weekend against the Giants. Gosselin 275. He's homered twice. Another case, Bob, of Robbie Ray pitching pretty effectively. Had a very bumpy first inning, obviously gave up 3 runs, but 7 strikeouts, 5 innings, only 1 walk, but he just can't get deep into the ball game. He's got to do better than 5 innings.
Or develop the stamina to throw 125, 130, 140 pitches in a ball game. That's about the only way Robbie's going to be able to give you 7 or 8 innings.
Just got to find a way to get more efficient as Butler walks the pinch hitter Gosselin. Hey, D-backs fans, you can't go back to the 90s, but Pepsi has the next best thing, so tighten up your fanny pack. Crystal Pepsi is back. It's available in stores now, but only for a very limited time. Gene Segura has homered twice tonight.
And part of the reason for that elevated pitch count against Robbie Ray, 8 batters for the Rockies saw 6 or more pitches. We'll get it up there in a hurry.
We seem to have the old 2-strike foul ball thing come back tonight. Haven't really seen a whole lot of that. But he did have a bunch of foul balls. Blackman had a couple of extended at bats.
Arenado had one.
Yeah. That adds about 9-10 pitches. That's another inning, really.
Yeah.
Segura's hit 2 homers, almost exactly the same home run, very high, and just a couple of rows back in left field. 2 sort of majestic home runs, both had just enough. Numbers 13 and 14 on the year.
Hit off.
This is Gene Segura first in the bottom of the first to lead it off after the D-backs were down 3-0. He really got this started. That's the first one, and this one in the fourth, both off Jorge De La Rosa. A celebration with Yasmani Tomas. 0-2 on Gene. Gonzalez at shortstop. LeMahieu gets one, and that's it. Chris Owings doubled, stole third, scored a run in the first. He's 1 for 3.
Sounded like it hit Gene. Yeah, it did.
Back of the shoulder. Rolled away from Mark Reynolds. There's Dave McKay over there. Well, he's what he's gone through physically. The fact he's been able to play almost every game is remarkable.
And that is his throwing shoulder. Grabbing at the back of that right arm. You'll see this pickoff attempt. Reynolds didn't even really reach out and try to make a play right there.
Gene's waving off the trainers, so he's apparently okay. 1-0 on Chris Owings. Segura heads for second, and Owings fouls that one back.
You almost knew that was coming. You drilled me in the shoulder with a pickoff attempt. I'm going to steal second base on the next pitch. Gives you a little extra adrenaline over there at first base. Gene got himself a good jump. Unfortunately, Chris Owings found the pitch to his liking, fouled it off. He'll have to go back and do it again.
Well, Segura's already had career highs this year in hits, homers, and RBIs. He's got 30 stolen bases. His career high is 44, set 3 years ago when he was an all-star in Milwaukee. Very short right center, and that drops in. Segura heads for third. Chris Owings' second hit tonight. Put it in a good spot. CO 2 for 4.
Here's the trademark, a little floater. We had to hold our breath for a minute. We've seen LeMahieu go out into shallow center and right center and make some amazing over-the-shoulder catches, but even he couldn't catch up to that one.
A chance for Goldie. They're on the corners with 2 outs. Paul Goldschmidt walked, stole a base, scored a run in the first, singled in the second, doubled and scored in the fourth. Segura at third and Owings at first.
Number of associate umpires here tonight, helping Clint Fagan with his duties behind home plate.
It's like having a spotter. Just off the graphic for our Gold broadcast coming up, our broadcast fundraiser. This September 16th. D-backs and Dodgers game. Try and raise money for Phoenix Children's Hospital. One and two. Get through ball. There it is. Segura scores. Owings heads for third. RBI single for Goldie, and it's 8-4. Goldie 3 for 3 with a walk.
Up there at the top of the zone, just a hard ground ball up the middle of the field, gets by Adames before he could even dive for it.
Diamondbacks got 2 in the 4th, now 2 more here in the 5th. Still runners in the corners with 2 down, this time for Wellington Castillo, who's 0 for 3. One more time, there it is. Owings scores. Goldie heads for third. RBI single for Castillo, make it 9-4 Diamondbacks.
Boy, these are the kind of rallies hitting coaches love. First to third, first to third, first to third. Just take advantage of what the pitcher gives you and what the defense is offering. A couple of ground balls right back up the middle of the field. Play 2 more runs, and runners at first and third once again.
That'll get Steve Foster out to the mound, the Rockies pitching coach. Diamondbacks have now out-hit Colorado 13-6.
13th consecutive game that the Diamondbacks have had 10 or more hits against the Rockies.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Bullpen stays busy for the Rockies. Caracini, the right-hander. A chance for Tomas to blow this thing wide open. If you can do such a thing in a D-back Rocky game. Tomas 2 for 3, a pair of singles. He's got an RBI. Tomas 4 hits last night, 2 more tonight. He's got 6 RBIs in the series already. Yasmani has become a serial fidgeter up there. He's got a lot of Nomar in him. He stays in the box as per the rules. As long as you're in the box, you can do all you want with the adjusting and the whole thing. But Yasmani does it a lot. Always with the batting gloves and the wristbands.
Tugging the sleeves up a little higher. There you go.
Because he's standing in the batter's box, this is all legal. But if they ever get a pitch clock, that might be another story. Fair ball! It's by Arenado. Goldie scores to make it 10-4. They'll stop Wellington at third. It's an RBI double for El Tanque Yasmani Tomas, his 3rd hit tonight. And his 2nd run batted in. That's 5 hits in the inning against Eddie Butler. They've scored 4.
Another pitch probably off the plate inside. Keeps it fair right down the stripe past a diving Nolan Arenado. It's not easy to get a ground ball past hits down there at third base, but that one was perfectly placed right down the line.
And that's going to do it for Eddie Butler. Another long, slow walk for Walt Weiss. Diamondbacks have out-hit the Rockies 14-6. They lead it 10-4. Back from Chase Field in just a moment. Ball brought to you by T-Mobile. Dodgers at Yankee Stadium. They lost 3-0, so it's a critical game for the Giants. And they are hosting San Diego right now. They were trailing 1-0. They now lead it 2-1, bottom 5 at AT&T Park. New pitcher for the Rockies, the right-hander, Matt Caracity. He was called up for the minors in the middle of last month. It's not gone all that well. You can see the ERA. He's made 11 major league appearances, and he's been scored on in 9 of them.
Nearly as many walks as hits in his 10 innings of work. 469 opponents' batting average.
The last 4 D-backs had base hits against Eddie Butler, so Jake Lamb, the 9th man to bat here in the Diamondback 5th. They've already scored 4. They've got Wellington Castillo at 3rd, Yasmani Tomas at 2nd. And here's Lamb, who has doubled and walked. He's also struck out 1 for 2. Diamondbacks with 4 in the first. 2 runs in the 4th. Now 4 more here in the 5th. Fastball up and in. Actually a hard changeup. 2-0.
This is probably where the last piece of advice you get from your hitting coach when you go to the plate and face a guy like this is keyhole him. Make him throw strikes and make sure it's a strike you want to swing at.
Dave Magadan, the hitting coach, along with Mark Grace.
The idea is you shrink the strike zone down to the size of a keyhole, and if that ball is in that keyhole, that's when you're ready to let it go.
Well, the Diamondbacks have batted around. Brandon Drury led off this inning with a home run.
Left fielder.
Into the pool on the fly. It was a splashdown homer for Brandon, his 13th home run this year. So he'll bat for the 2nd time in the 5th. Wellington Castillo at 3rd. Yasmani Tomas at 2nd, and Jake Lamb at 1st. Brandon Drury just crushing the ball right now. 4 for 5 last night. He's homered in back-to-back games. And he looks at a fastball for strike 1. Drury's hit safely in 5 straight games, 9 of his last 10. Three home runs in his last 5 games. Hello, Nick Hundley. Castillo will score. 11-4. Everybody moves up. It's the 3rd one tonight that's gotten behind the Rockies catcher. Another wild pitch.
Hundley really made an effort to get out in front of that ball with the fingers of the catcher's mitt down. I've become a believer that the easier way to block that ball is to just backhand it. You know, you try to turn the glove around and block it the way you're taught, and you're not going to get out there in time to get in front of that ball. But if you slide out on that right shin guard and just reach out with a backhand, I think you've got a much better chance of keeping that ball in front. I'm sure he'll have plenty of opportunities to work on that here.
The way it's going, sure. Good fastball, and it's 1-2 on Drury. Waves at that one and strikes out, but the Diamondbacks send 10 men to the plate in the 5th inning. 5 of them scored, and it was Brandon Drury who started it off. A home run into the pool, his 13th of the year, and the Diamondbacks are beating up the Rockies here at Chase.
We head to the top of the 6th. Time to take a look back at Major League Baseball history, brought to you by Geico. This one has a little Colorado twist to it. Dante Bichette, a couple of home runs here, joins teammate Ellis Burks as a member of the 30-30 club, only the 2nd team in Major League Baseball history to have 2 teammates hit 30 homers and steal 30 bases in a season. The other, the 1984 Mets with Darryl Strawberry and Howard Johnson. Now, a lot of people forget Dante Bichette could really run at one point in his career before he got real big at the end of his career.
New pitcher for the D-backs, your Arizona Federal Credit Union pitching change. The 2nd major league appearance for rookie right-hander Matt Cook. He made his big league debut in that marathon game against the Giants on Friday when he worked a scoreless 11th inning. 6'3", 215, 25 years old. Acquired from the Mets last August in the trade that sent Addison Reed to New York. Ryan Rayburn hits a fly ball to deep left for Brandon Drury.
I've talked a lot about the Blake Street Bombers, the early history of the Colorado Rockies, and the numbers are staggering. This is the 95 Blake Street Bombers, just the top 4 home run hitters. And 96. Oh my. 97.
Boy, just right Vinny Castilla in for 40 a year.
He was automatic. Automatic. Andres Galarraga, one of the great hitters of his era. Larry Walker, one of the great players of his era.
Mark Reynolds. That's going to get to the wall. 2 hard hit balls against Matt Cook open up the Colorado 6th. The double for Reynolds, his second hit tonight. His 24th double this year.
Drive down in that left field corner. Flat swing that time from Reynolds. He used to have a real short abbreviated uppercut to try to lift everything in the air. Much more accomplished, consistent hitter this year with the Rockies.
Nick Hundley doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Matt Cook split this year between AA Mobile and AAA Reno. Made 21 appearances, all as a starting pitcher. Went 6-6 with a 4.08 ERA. Most of that time was spent pitching in the Southern League for Robbie Hammock down at Mobile, but he'd only been with Reno for the last month or so when he was called up, but he pitched pretty well there for Phil Nevin. 7 starts in AAA, went 4-2 with a 3.09. Walked only 6 in nearly 47 innings. Those are very good numbers for pitching in the Pacific Coast League.
I remember from my days playing in the Coast League, there were a lot of really good hitters parks, obviously. But there were some really tough ones too. You went up to the Pacific Northwest and played in Vancouver and Portland and Spokane. Big ballparks, heavy, dense, wet air at night, thick infield grass.
Well, now you're at Reno and Albuquerque and Colorado Springs. Braden Shipley will tell you about pitching at some of those ballparks. Funny, talked to Brandon Drury about hitting in the Southern League in AA, where it's all that humidity and thick, heavy air. And Brandon would say, man, I hit some balls I thought were going to go 450 easy, and they died at the track. I couldn't believe it. And then you talk to guys about pitching in the Coast League at AAA, and the ball just flies. Oh, 0-2 on the Rockies catcher. Center field, Haniger coming in, runs that one down. Reynolds back to the bag at second. That's the second out.
Speaking of the minor leagues, congratulations to the Visalia Rawhide. They swept the Bakersfield Blaze, which is a Mariners farm club, to win the Northern Division of the California League. They're waiting to see who wins that Southern Division. High Desert up 2-1 in their best-of-5 series against Lancaster.
Roll Hyde. J.R. House has done a tremendous job managing that team the last couple of years. Christian Adames, the shortstop. Pitcher spot due up next, and Jordan Patterson is in the on-deck circle for the Rockies. A rookie with only 2 major league plate appearances on the resume. 4th round pick 3 years ago out of South Alabama, the Fightin' Gonzos of USA.
Have they officially changed the name to the Fightin' Gonzos?
Well, they should if they haven't. I think they're still the Jaguars, but I don't know, they don't return my calls anymore. Gonzo was here earlier. I don't know what happened to him. South Alabama's had a good baseball program for a long time.
Long time.
Down in Mobile. Right on the water. 0-2. Adames has played a lot more in the second half of the year. They're, of course, without their sensational rookie shortstop Trevor Story, who injured his thumb a little over a month ago. So we've got a lot of Adames and Descalso at shortstop. Saw Descalso in there last night. He had a home run. Tonight it's Christian Adames, 25-year-old.
Well, the moral compass had my head hurting before the ball game tonight.
Mike Farron, he'll do that to you. If you talk to Mike Farron for too long, you walk away with a headache.
You know how he likes his sabermetrics, and he was saying that Christian Adames has the lowest launch angle of any qualified hitter, which means he hits a lot of ground balls, basically.
Well, he's not launching that one. Matt Cook gets his first major league strikeout. He strands the one-out double. He keeps it 11-4. Backs beating up on the Rockies 11-4. We fans every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. They'll go head to head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon, weekdays at 6:30 in the morning, only on FS1.
Now in right field, number 72, Jordan Patterson.
Bottom six here at Chase Field.
65.
A whole bunch of defensive changes for Walt Weiss, including the pitcher, Herman Marquez, the right-hander, 21-year-old. He's making just his second major league appearance. Pitched 2 1/3 innings over the weekend at Petco Park in San Diego. 26 starts in the minor leagues between AA Hartford and AAA Albuquerque. He was actually Eastern League Pitcher of the Year, pitching in AA for the Hartford Yard Goats. 9-6 with a 2.85 ERA. Haniger bangs that into center. Mitch Haniger's second hit tonight, a leadoff single. We got a new third baseman. There's Pat Valleca, 9th round pick 3 years ago out of UCLA. Jordan Patterson is in the outfield. There's a mini Goldie, Steven Cardulo at first base. Goldie's mini-me, and there's Patterson in right field. So Arenado is out, Reynolds is out, and Gonzalez is out. Here's Matt Cook. That hit him. He bunted it. Pulled that head back. Matt seems to be okay. So they move Haniger along. Nice job there by Matt Cook. Segura's homered twice tonight.
Second baseman, Jake Segura.
Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing, cool plays of the game. Segura, a couple of solo homers, numbers 13 and 14.
He also has a lousy single on the ball game. Scored 3 times.
Long throw from third. Segura beats it out. Haniger had to stay put at second base. 2 on and 1 out now for Chris Owings.
Four-hit night for Gene Segura.
Shortstop, Chris Owings.
Once Valaika backed up on that ball down there at third base, retreats a couple of steps to play that big hop. He's throwing nearly from the outfield grass. You're going to have no chance to get Gene Segura at first base.
CO 2 for 4, a double and a single. He scored twice.
Mariners putting a whooping on the Angels tonight, 8-0 in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Taijuan Walker had a no-hitter going until the bottom of the 7th when Albert Pujols got a base hit to break up the no-hitter. It seems like every night
You're
get
right.
the alert.
You were just saying that last night.
No-hitter, no-hitter.
Kyle Hendricks took one into the 9th inning last night for the Cubs in St. Louis. Lost it on a Hazelbaker homer to lead off the 9th inning. 0-2 on Owings. Just missed it. Andy Gonzalez down at first base says foul. Sam No-Neck Noriega with a nice play down there, a Golden Glover.
Boy, that would have been some action with the speed on base. Haniger at second, Segura at first. That ball just into foul territory. That would have been off to the races.
Oh yeah.
Probably score both runners. CO ends up at third, maybe thinking about turning it into an inside the Parker.
Yeah, good speed on the bases right now. Haniger runs pretty well, and Segura is over there at first. This is bounced to shortstop. Adames LeMahieu. No chance to get Owings. Big night for Goldie. Walked, stole a base, and scored in the first. Singled in the second. Doubled and scored in the fourth. And an RBI single and scored in the fifth. Got Haniger at third and Owings at first. That rolls away from Hundley. Everybody stays put. You said it'd have more opportunities.
Oh, brother. Sometimes you feel like you're catching with a frying pan back there. Pitcher's spraying it all over the place. You're going from one side of the plate to the other, up, down, in the dirt, over your head. It's a workout.
3-1 on Goldie. Major League walks leader has his second walk tonight, and the bases are loaded for Wellington Castillo. Well, he had an RBI single and scored his last time up. He's knocked in 2 runs today. Mitch Haniger, the runner, at third. Bruce Owings at second and Paul Goldschmidt at first. Yes, he went, says Manny Gonzalez, and it's 0-1. You
want to play a cruel joke on Nick Hundley, tell him he's got to be at the ballpark early tomorrow to practice blocking balls in the dirt down the bullpen.
Send him an email.
Yeah. That's something that does happen with regularity during the season. Of course, in spring training, catchers and the catching instructors work hard on that. Blocking balls in the dirt, block and recover. We see Glenn Sherlock working with the D-backs catchers in spring training. But as the season gets underway, yeah, usually you pick a day or two here or there, usually on a road trip, and you bring the catchers out to the ballpark early for a little refresher course. I don't think Nick needs a refresher course. He's had plenty of practice here tonight.
That's going to get out of play. Two and two. Diamondbacks last night 12 runs on 16 hits. That was in 9 innings. Tonight 11 runs on 16 hits, and we're not through the 6th. Bases loaded, 2 outs, full count, 3-2. Tomas would be next. He's got 3 hits tonight. Fly ball, right field. Patterson is there, just shy of the warning track, and that's the inning. Diamondbacks leave them loaded, but they lead at 11-4. Diamondbacks 11-4 on 16 hits. Hey fans, don't forget our Go Gold telecast coming up September 16th. That game against the Dodgers on Friday night. An opportunity to raise money for a tremendous cause that Paul Goldschmidt and his wife Amy are so involved with. Our Go for Gold charity telecast coming up on Friday. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. And it all benefits Goldie's Fun for Kids and the Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Kyle Jensen and some of his teammates were there today, doing a great job. Matt Cook getting to talk to some of the kids. Peter O'Brien right there. That's always a big event on our calendar. Our Go for Gold charity telecast coming up Friday against the Dodgers. And all the money goes to benefit Goldie's Fun for Kids. Coverage starts at 6 o'clock. Pat Valaika swing and bunt. No chance for Matt Cook. New third baseman Valaika. He's only had 2 major league plate appearances, and he's got base hits both times. He doubled Thursday at San Diego. Now a swing and bunt single here.
Wait a minute, I don't have him on my scorecard.
What are you saying?
That's an automatic out. How did they sneak an extra player on there?
They have a lot to choose from. Pat Valaika played most of this year at AA Hartford. 9th round pick out of UCLA 3 years ago. Charlie Blackmon homered his last time up. His 26th. Second inning for rookie right-hander Matt Cook. Made his major league debut Friday against the Giants. Worked the 6th inning, gave up 1 hit, a double by Mark Reynolds. And now the bunt, swing and bunt single by Valaika to lead off the 7th. Matt got his first major league strikeout in that 6th inning. Got Christian Adames to end it. Fastball inside, missed, and it's 1-2 on Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon 4th in the league in hitting. He's now at .317. Had 3 hits last night, including 2 doubles. He's walked and homered tonight. Dodgers lost at Yankee Stadium 3-0. Yankees beat them. So a big night for the Giants, who lead the Padres 3-1 at AT&T Park. They're in the 6th inning in San Francisco. Squib shot. Owings is there. I always write those down as B6 for bloop. Not quite a line drive, not quite a pop-up. So Blackmon has retired B6, and here's LeMahieu.
Sometimes I put an SL, soft line.
Oh, that's much more poetic. LeMahieu an RBI double in the first, 1 for 3. I think you're just still confused from talking to Mike Farron.
I mean, really, he was talking about the launch angle for Christian Adames, a negative launch angle.
This one is launched to right center. Oh, Mitch Haniger Nice running grab by Mitch, who got a cleat caught in that grass out there. He's lucky he didn't injure himself. Mitch has played a pretty fair amount of center field in the minors. He covers a lot more ground than you think he might, but had an awkward landing there.
Yeah, showed some really good closing speed. I thought that ball was going to drop in the gap between the two, but Haniger gets there. That left knee kind of plants in the sod out there. Able to pop to his feet and get the ball back in quickly. Good focus. Looks that ball all the way into the glove.
Well, here's Mini Goldie, Stephen Cardullo. Goldie's mini-me, the first baseman. Valleca, the runner at first, and 2 outs. This guy, a tremendous story, Stephen Cardullo. I mean, these guys, they could be brothers. Look at them. Somebody shrunk Goldie. Cardullo, originally a Diamondback draft pick out of Florida State. 24th round back in 2010. Played 2 seasons of rookie ball at Missoula. Didn't do a whole lot, and he was released. And from there, it turned into a David Peralta type story. Several seasons in the independent leagues. He played in London, Ontario, Canada. He played for the Florence Freedom in Kentucky in the Frontier League. And then 3 full seasons with the Rockland Boulders in the Can-Am Association. 4 full years of independent ball. Finally signed with the Rockies in January, and now here he is in the big leagues for the first time. Haniger one more time. Good job there by Matt Cook. He's worked 2 scoreless innings. D-backs lead at 11-4. Fans, you can stay up to date with the Diamondbacks this season, home and away, by checking out Fox Sports Arizona's social media platforms. They're on Facebook, the Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the whole thing. You'll find exclusive videos, photos, interviews, game previews, analysis, and interaction you won't find anywhere else. A whole bunch of changes. This is like a spring training game for Walt Weiss. As Manny Tomas leads off the bottom of the 7th. New catcher back there, Dustin Garnell. Tomas pops this one up. Cardullo in foul ground. And you'll like this. So we talked last night when Tony Walters did such a good job behind the plate as the Rockies catcher. He's been their backup catcher all year, but the converted infielder, and he's out there playing second base. So there's Garneau behind the plate, and there's Walters, who started at catcher last night. And Raimel Tapia takes over for Blackman in center field.
Nick Hundley is in shock.
Apparently. What did he just see? That's what I'd like to know. Jake Lamb has walked twice. He's got an RBI double. Diamondbacks have out hit the Rockies 16-8. They lead it 11-4. Chance for Kirk. Foul pole. Farley, our Golden Glover, down the left field line. All the Golden Glovers, by the way, were introduced with their nicknames before the game today. So nice job by the whole crew over there.
We have a lot of fun with them over the course of the summer, but they do a great job. They make a lot of kids happy down that right and left field line.
Lamb looks at strike 3.
We talked a lot about Brandon Drury and Yasmani Tomas in the open of the show tonight, and they have just continued what they did in the ball game last night. These two guys are just absolutely raking. Combined 12 for 18 with a couple of homers, including the Tomas grand slam, 3 doubles, 9 driven in, and they've scored 7 runs between them.
Drury tonight homered for the 2nd consecutive game. He's also walked. And Tomas has had a big night. 3 hits, including a double and 2 RBIs. And 2 on Brandon. He struck out twice tonight. Hard to third. Valleca has it in the hole. And that's a 1-2-3-7 for Marquez. D-backs lead the Rockies 11-4. Lead over the Rockies, if there is such a thing. It's 11-4. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. Diamondbacks hopefully be going for the 3-game series sweep tomorrow night with Ruby De La Rosa back on the mound against Rocky righty Jeff Hoffman. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. 8th inning. And Matt Cook back out there, the rookie right-hander, for his 3rd inning of work on in relief of Robbie Ray, who went 5 tonight. And Matt has been starting all year long in the minor league, so this should be a piece of cake. Give Chip Hale some length and save some relievers' arms in the back of that bullpen. They've been worn out after the series against the Giants in the first game against Colorado. Jordan Patterson.
Yeah, usually you think about a relief pitcher coming in to give you some length in a ball game when you're trailing and save the rest of the bullpen, but because of the way this game developed, you need Cook to give you some innings with a big lead. Right off that protective guard on the right foot, right ankle.
Yes, he did, Fielden Culbreth. Patterson from Mobile, Alabama. 4th-round pick out of South Alabama in the draft 3 years ago. That's in the Rockies dugout. D-backs fans may remember Jordan Patterson. He played with the Salt River Rafters in the Arizona Fall League last year. Don't forget Fall League coming up. Steve Cobb and Paul Jensen have been working busily getting ready for Fall League. Rafters open up their season October 11th at Salt River Fields as Cook gets his 2nd major league strikeout.
Boy, if you find a weakness, you go at it. Matt Cook rather found the weakness. Look at these pitches. Patterson swung at 3 of them.
Spelled Coke, pronounced Cook. How about that? 25 pitches, 23 strikes. A lot of fly ball outs for Matt Cook. Ryan Rayburn 0 for 3. Matt Cook out of Cherokee, Iowa, pitched collegiately at Louisville. The Mets' 3rd-round pick in the draft 4 years ago. Acquired in the Addison Reed deal last year. He's been a starter just about all his professional life. Pitched in places like Savannah in the Sally League, Binghamton, AA last year. This year, Mobile and Reno. There's Kirk Farley. Nice job, Kirk.
Visalia will play High Desert for the COL League Championship. High Desert, a Rangers affiliate. They just won the Southern Series tonight, beat Lancaster 7-2.
Fastball missed. Visalia has not won a COL League title since 1978. So think about what an accomplishment that would be for J.R. House and his team. That whole staff over there.
A couple of hitting stars in the ballgame for Visalia last night when they beat Bakersfield 6-3. Victor Reyes, who's hit .583 in the playoffs. He had a home run. Michael Perez, the catcher, also hit a home run. He's hitting .545 in the postseason.
Well, Ryan Rayburn apparently swung and missed at that one. They appealed and there was a check, but there he goes.
Pinch hitting for
had enough.
Number 23, Tom Murphy.
So Tom Murphy, the catcher, will hit for the pitcher Marquez. You'll love this. Walt Weiss has worked 3 catchers into this ball game.
You gotta
right
love that.
Yeah. So that's the 3rd strikeout for Matt Cook. Murphy 6 for 16 this year with 2 homers, just called up from the minors with September roster expansion, which, as we've seen tonight, is absolutely out of control.
And one more name from that Visalia team to keep your eye on in the future, Diamondbacks fans. Gabe Moya, who finished the game out of the bullpen for Visalia, was not a save situation. This guy, in 52 games overall in the minor leagues this year, pitched to a 1.55 ERA, 63 innings, surrendered 38 hits, struck out 82, walked 17, only gave up 2 home runs all season long.
That'll win you the COL League championship.
That'll play.
Get you in the final anyway. So good luck to J.R. House and the Hyde.
Go get him. Roll Hyde.
There you go. Murphy fouls that one away. JR did a lot of work in the offseason with the moral compass, Mike Farron. on some of the Fall League radio broadcasts on the satellite radio. So I get to check in with JR a couple of times over the course of the Fall League season last year. Popped him up very short left center. Chris Owings drifting out there calling for it. And Matt Cook, a couple of strikeouts, a 1-2 3/8. He's worked 3 innings. It's 11-4 Diamondbacks.
Jackson alongside Brandon Webb. We hope you join us for D-Backs Live, presented by CenturyLink, right after the game, our post-game show. And Brandon, we talked about the average number of runs scored in a game with these two teams this year, 13. So right on pace, but the D-Backs with 11 here tonight. Another night of big offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's getting involved. They've been beating up on each other. Again, they really got to it in the 5th. We're going to take a look at that and see how they blew it open in the 5th inning. All
right, some of the guys that did the damage last night as well for the D-Backs as they look for their 2nd straight win. We'll also look at Robbie Ray reaching that 200 strikeout mark. Guys?
All right, guys. Mitch Haniger leads off the bottom of the 8th against the new Rocky pitcher. It's the veteran right-hander Jason Mott, who was just activated from the disabled list before the game tonight. He's been out since the end of July with a right rotator cuff strain. His 27th appearance this year, an ERA over 5.5. It's been a good night for Mitch Haniger. 2 singles, a walk, an RBI, and a terrific running catch in right center field. Giants still leading the Padres 3-1 in San Francisco. They're in the 7th. Dodgers lost at Yankee Stadium 3-0, so the Giants can pick up a game in the NL West. Haniger right back at Mott. And how about Walters at second, the catcher out there, who was starting behind the plate in the ball game last night, took over at second for LeMahieu and made a tremendous play right there.
I almost needed catcher's gear to field that one. That ball was smoked back up the middle.
Sure was.
Wow, nice play out there by Tony Walters.
Walters, his first 3 seasons as a pro in the Indians organization, was a shortstop and second baseman. That one almost got Mott, but the Rockies converted him into a catcher, and he's done a very nice job this year, just getting a few reps over there at second. So that's it. 1 batter for Jason Mott, and he's done. Diamondbacks lead the Hartford Yard Goats 11-4. Back after this. Calls out of the Colorado bullpen. He worked the 8th inning last night, and he's out there back in the 8th tonight. Peter O'Brien has come out in the on-deck circle, but he's out there with the pitcher, Matt Cook. So O'Brien will hit for Segura. Cook will take the at-bat, so he will qualify now for the 3-inning save, Matt Cook, in just his 2nd major league appearance. Here's the numbers on the veteran Chad Qualls, who's got about 800 major league appearances. Actually made his 800th big league appearance earlier this year, May 28th. 3 scoreless innings so far in relief of Robbie Ray for Matt Cook. He's given up just 2 hits. He's got 3 strikeouts.
Boy, just what the doctor ordered. You didn't want to have to go through 3 or 4 or 5 or more pitchers to finish up this ball game tonight. Comes into a 7-run game just firing strikes. Exactly what you wanted.
A lot of fly ball outs for Matt, who made his major league debut Friday here against the Giants. Pitched most of the year at AA Mobile, about a month or so with Phil Nevin at AAA Reno. Now here he is in the big leagues. 25-year-old rookie. And he works a walk against the veteran Qualls. Boy, how does a guy who's made 800-something big league appearances come in 8th inning of an 11-4 game and walk the pitcher?
I think he just got ahead of himself there. I think Qualls said, I got a pitcher here, I'll just get him out of the way and then go to work on the guy in the on-deck circle, and he just wasn't focusing, wasn't paying a lot of attention to the pitches he was throwing there. Everything wide of the zone.
He makes a mistake, and Pete will hit one 470 on him. 138 and 5 homers for O'Brien, who hits for the 2nd baseman Segura. Peter homered off Johnny Cueto Saturday against the Giants here. 5 homers in 22 games this year. Can't check his swing, and it's 0-2. Glove of Aleka, and it rolls down the left field line. A double for Peter O'Brien.
Balls left that slider a little too close to the strike zone that time, and Peter O'Brien rips it down that 3rd base line for a 1-out double, sending Cook all the way to 3rd base.
2nd and 3rd, 1 out for Chris Owings, who's got 2 hits and has scored twice. Chris doubled in the 1st and singled in the 5th. There's strike 1. Now 17 hits for the D-backs. Last night 12 runs on 16 hits. Tonight 11 runs on 17 hits. Goldie Spot is due up next, but big Kyle Jensen is in the on-deck circle. Kyle got the start in left field last night as Owings strikes out.
Pitch hit for ball
Kyle, a couple of RBI singles last night in his first 2 at-bats. His first major league start in left field. He'll hit for Goldie, with Matt Cook at third and Peter O'Brien at second and 2 down. Oh, and 2. Kyle homered off Madison Bumgarner Friday against the Giants, his first major league hit. Dustin Garneau will collect that one. 1 and 2 now on Kyle Jensen.
Now, so far this has been a typical Chad Walls approach to a right-handed hitter that he doesn't know. Big guy Kyle Jensen probably has some pop. Throws him 2 sinkers off the outside corner that tailed back and barely caught the edge of the zone for called strikes, and then tried to get him to chase a slider in the same slot, breaking off the plate low and away.
Well, tried it again, and that time he did chase. We'll head to the 9th. It's 11-4 Diamondbacks. D-backs all over the Rockies. 11-4.
Charlie Blackmon with a long home run to right field in that 5th inning for the Rockies. That was easily answered by Brandon Drury with a splash down homer out there into the pool area. And Gene Segura with a big night tonight. Couple of home runs, 4 hits in the game. Lots of smiles in that third base dugout tonight.
Here's the numbers on the Gila River game summary. Segura 2 homers. D-backs 11 runs on 17 hits. And Matt Cook out there for his 4th inning of relief. He's pitched 3 scoreless so far after Robbie Ray went 5. A whole bunch of defensive changes behind him.
Leading off for Colorado, catcher Dustin
Peter O'Brien will remain in the game, and he'll take over in left field as Brandon Drury moves over to second base to replace Gene Segura after O'Brien hit for Segura. So O'Brien in left, Drury at second. Socrates Brito replaces Yasmani Tomas in right. And Kyle Jensen, who hit for Goldie, stays in the game to play first. Rockies catcher Dustin Garneau will lead it off against rookie Matt Cook.
Well, a lot of people have headed for home already with the big lead by the Diamondbacks, but the scouts are still here. This is an opportunity to see some guys that maybe they don't have full reports on at this point. comparing notes down there.
Well, you're getting a lot of chances to see guys who've been playing mostly in Double-A this year, especially for the Rockies. Garneau spent most of this season in Triple-A Albuquerque. Hit .292 there with 15 homers. He's only played 20 games for the Rockies this year. And he's down 1-2 against Matt Cook. Boy, Matt Cook, his first 4 big league strikeouts tonight. He gets Garneau to open up the 9th.
Shortstop,
Pitching with a lot of confidence. I mentioned it a little while ago. He's just out there attacking the strike zone. 42 pitches in the game, 34 of them for strikes.
No fear. He pitched that way in the minors. Kirsten Adames was Cook's first big league strikeout victim back in the 6th. Mentioned in 47 innings as a starter for Triple-A Reno this year, Matt Cook walked only 6 guys. So being around the strike zone is pretty much the way he goes.
Adames at the plate. Check for a negative launch angle here.
Courtesy of Mike Farron, host of the popular Snake Talk radio program. Well, Cook struck out Adames the first time they faced each other, but now he's behind 3-0. He's worked 3 scoreless innings so far, given up just 2 hits. He's not walked a batter. And he walks Adames. Matt Cook, when he came in that marathon game against the Giants on Friday to start the 11th inning, walked the first 2 batters he faced in the big leagues, Denard Span and Angel Pagan. But then retired the next 3. Got Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, and Hunter Pence pitched a clean 11th, stranded both those bases on balls. And now he's got a 1-out base runner for Pat Valaika, the 3rd baseman. Valaika had a swinging bunt single against Cook to lead off the 7th. Gets this one way up in the air, drifting out to short right is Brandon Drury. 2 outs. Brandon Webb and Jody Jackson standing by. Diamondback Live postgame show coming up in just a moment, right after our ball game ends. And the D-backs will go for the series sweep tomorrow with Ruby De La Rosa on the mound, his 2nd start since he came off the DL. Right-hander Jeff Hoffman starts for Colorado.
Big game for Mike Farron.
Because
that would be 3 in a row if the D-backs could win tomorrow.
Oh, good point. He could finally
shave.
Yeah, get the razor out. That beard is looking good, though. He's into the 3rd round of the NHL playoffs with that thing. The moral compass, Mike Farron, who has not been allowed to shave by the governor, Greg Schulte, until the D-backs win 3 straight games. Raimel Tapia took over in center field for Charlie Blackmon. Fly ball, right field. Socrates Brito is there. And the Diamondbacks have taken the first 2 from the Colorado Rockies. And Matt Cook, who pitched 4 scoreless innings of relief, gets his first major league save. Just the 4th ever 3-inning plus save in Diamondback history.
Yeah, really, other than the first inning, a well-pitched game tonight by the Diamondbacks to go along with the explosive offense that they unleashed on this Rockies pitching staff once again.
Yeah, hard to believe that back in the first inning, the Diamondbacks actually trailed this 3-0. But they got 4 in the home half of the first, and then a whole bunch more after that. 11-4, they've taken the first 2 games. And Brandon Webb is standing by with Jody Jackson. Jody.
Thanks a lot, Steve. That's right. I think Bob really hit on it there. We saw, Brandon, as we kind of predicted in the pregame show, you know, we saw the first inning, and we talked about 71 pitches and 4-3, but then the difference was the D-backs were able to clamp down, right?
Yeah, Robbie Ray settled down. The first inning looked very shaky, but the D-backs continued to score throughout the game and came out with a big win. All
right, 17 hits. We'll break it all down on our post-game show. It is D-backs Live, presented by CenturyLink. It is coming your way in moments as the D-backs once again bust out the bats against the Rockies. 11-4 the final. We'll hear from manager Chip Hale. Brandon will break down Robbie Ray's outing and that 4-inning save by Matt Cook. It is all coming your way next. Stay with us right here on Fox Sports Arizona. Our post-game show is coming your way.